Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's so easy with Anchor.
Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use.
And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad. We struggled to find the right way to distribute our podcast, and Anchor made it quick, easy, and free. We're on platforms we had never heard of, and that's all thanks to Anchor doing the hard work.
So, if you have been thinking about starting your own podcast, head on over to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start. Hi, everybody. Here we are again with another episode of Spilling the Mad Tea. Before we catch up today, we have some really exciting news to share with you all.
We just reached 1,000 followers on Instagram.
What? We are so thankful for every listener and follower, and we want to show our appreciation with a little giveaway.
So stay tuned, because later in the episode, we're going to cover all the details on how to enter.
We have gotten pretty good at giving Disney-themed gifts over the years to each other, so we think you guys will really enjoy this giveaway.
We hope, anyway.
Yeah.
I think you will.
We enjoy it.
I would enjoy it.
So now, we want to catch up. We actually haven't talked in a while. So, how is everybody?
Well, I am doing really well. I'm on a little bit of a break in between jobs. I keep joking with my husband that I'm in between jobs, where I just quit my job and I'm starting a really exciting new job.
Yay!
I won't say where, but I'm just really excited about it. It's a really great opportunity. It's a better facility. It's a better opportunity for me personally and professionally. So I'm really excited. I'm also really excited that I have some time off in between them. I went to the beach on my off time, relaxed, spent some time down there with some family. My husband and his family were down there, and we had a really good time. We did our first escape room. Have you guys ever done an escape room?
Have not.
No.
Because the idea terrifies me. I'm claustrophobic. I'm so claustrophobic that I can't even think about doing that.
I thought the same thing, but it's not like a tiny room. Like it's pretty. There were 7 of us, mostly all adults, and so like. And Cameron's size, and his brother's just as big. And we, it was fine. There was no moment where we were like, oh, this is, no. So we had a really good time. It was actually really hard.
Did you escape?
We did escape, but I think we only escaped because we had 7 people working on these puzzles and not like 3 or 4. But they're doing an Alice in Wonderland themed one.
Oh.
That they're gonna have. The guy said they would hopefully have it ready by the next year. So we'll just have to take a
research
trip.
Retreat.
Yeah, there you go, and do an Alice in Wonderland escape room. It was so much fun.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I'm also really terrible under pressure and time constraints. So the being in a room that you're supposed to get out of under time and under pressure, and everybody's like, figure it out. I don't know how well I would do in that situation.
I think I would thrive. It seems like
I think you would, Stephanie. You would freaking love it.
Yeah, I can see Stephanie excelling at it and getting us out. And I'm just gonna be over in the corner crying because I'm having a panic attack, and Stephanie's like, "Got it done. Let's get out." And I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah. Kelly, you're good. Yeah. Come on, let's go.
We all apologized to each other ahead of time for all the mean things we were gonna say in that escape room. So really, it wasn't we got a little snippy, but we already talked about it ahead of time, how nothing. What happens in the escape room stays in the escape room.
Oh, that's gotta be for real.
Yeah, no hard feelings, but you're being an idiot.
Step aside.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that, so I'm gonna apologize to y'all now if we ever do that.
It was very fun, though. Stephanie, how's your week been? I know you've had a lot going on.
I've just been going. I just went out to Glacier National Park with my brother and 2 friends that we met while hiking the Inca Trail a year ago. So it was so fun. It was so beautiful. We went out there to do a vacation races, Glacier Half Marathon, and we went a couple days early and we flew into Great Falls, Montana, and kind of did a road trip up to Glacier National Park. we thought we were going to go on a little 1 mile hike, but the trail we were going to go on was closed. So we were like, okay, that one's open. Let's go on that one. So the day before we did a half marathon, we also did an 11-mile hike.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Without the recommended bear spray. So we did see
Oh my.
one bear, which was a little scary. But, we're here to tell the tale, and we survived.
Do you know what species it was?
I don't. It was kind of,
Damn.
yeah, it was, they're known for their grizzlies. So it could have been but it wasn't that big. So it could have been like a small grizzly, but it was really dark. So I don't know if they have any black bears there, but I know they've got grizzlies.
That's really exciting. Our listeners don't know this, but I grew up in Montana for a couple years, and we went to Glacier regularly, and we only ever saw a bear one time, and we were so excited we lost our minds. So that's I know it was scary for you, but that's very exciting that you saw a bear.
Well, it would have been better if we had the bear spray. It's like a concentrated pepper spray, enough to fend off a bear. But we were idiots, and we were like, we're not gonna pay $30 for something. We'll be fine. We're just gonna go on a mile hike on a boardwalk. We'll be fine. And we got a little complacent in our noise making, and we quieted down, and
That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
But we spooked it, and it got scared and ran away. So it wasn't a very intense encounter.
Yeah, I saw the pictures that your brother posted on Facebook, and when I see landscapes like that, I'm like, I have to paint that. That's what comes to mind immediately. So
yeah, I've got to find more. I'll send you
I
those
would
little
love to
pictures
see
I
your
tagged.
pictures. Yeah, it was anytime my first instinct whenever I see a pretty landscape is not to go, oh wow, I'm like, gotta paint that, store it in my mind, need to reference back to that at some point in time and paint it. So I want to go there really bad. It looks gorgeous.
I have never seen water so blue. I feel like I've seen it replicated at the Wilderness Lodge, in the little geysers there. But just this natural water that was melting from the glaciers and running in between the mountains into these creeks and rivers, and it the lakes were crystal clear. It was just so pretty. It was a really nice trip.
A couple of weeks ago, I did this small little art show at the tavern in my neighborhood, and it was really fun. I went in with no expectations, but I actually did pretty well, and people really seemed to like my art. So that was a little boost. That felt good. And then for the 4th of July, we're going camping, so we're getting ready for that. We have to canoe to the campsite, which is something completely new to me. I went canoeing in middle school once and flipped the canoe multiple times. So
What?
yeah, this is gonna be my first canoeing experience since that. Which thankfully Jerry knows what he's doing, so he'll be in charge of that. But we'll have our dog with us, so it's gonna be an experience. But I'm looking forward to it. The place we're going is really cool and really pretty. It's basically a canyon that was filled in with water as a water supply. So it'll be really cool to go see everything over there.
Today was, I don't know, it was a Monday because we're recording this on Monday. It was probably the Mondayest Monday I've had in quite some time. I kind of just glazed over the weekend because I had too much alcohol this weekend. And so yesterday I was nursing myself back to health. And today was just kind of it was busy at work because it's a holiday week. So everybody's trying to go out of town and stuff. And so it was just it went by quickly, which is a good thing, but it was a little hectic. So I got home and I worked out and then I cooked dinner. And now I'm just I feel good. I'm relaxed. It's all good. So that's how I'm doing. You are correct.
I think we're getting to the age where if we drink heavy like that, not only do we have a hangover, once we recover from the hangover, our body has to recover from the recovery that we needed for the hangover.
Girl,
yeah.
You ain't lying.
You're not hungover anymore, but you are just so tired.
Right. This morning I woke up and I was okay, I feel like myself. But mind you, I also went to sleep at 10 o'clock last night. So that's super early for me. That may be late for some people, but 10 o'clock is really early. Normally it's 11-ish. And so, and then I slept all the way to 7 o'clock this morning. So I slept good, but you're right. I think this is my body recovery day. And I had to go back to work. today we are going to talk about one of my favorite things to do during Disney vacation, and that is hunt for the hidden Mickeys all over the place.
Woo.
I have loved doing this ever since I learned about them. I bought several books, and just recently I bought the app that they have for the phone, which I didn't know about. And so we used it this past trip that we went on in February, and it was super convenient because all you had to do is just pull out your phone, and once you get the app and you pay like the one-time price, it updates as they make new books, so you don't have to buy anything else.
Do you, and maybe we don't want to put the name of the app on here, but what's the actual name of that app? Because I downloaded a Hidden Mickey app the last time I went, and I don't think it was the right one, and it sucked.
It's just it's hidden Mickeys, and the little picture of it is yellow, and it just says hidden Mickeys. It looks, yeah, it's like the book, and it's by the same person that the books are by. I mean, I don't know that I want to say it on here, but if you have the books, it will say the same name on it.
Oh, I just don't see. Maybe it's an iPhone thing.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Because I'm looking at the Play Store right now, and I don't see it. I see the one I downloaded, which was not great. I don't see one with yellow. Darn.
I'll share it with you later, and maybe.
Okay.
But anyways, I just thought that was really cool that it will update with the new books, so that you don't necessarily have to continue to buy the books.
Yeah, that is nice. When you use the app, do you like say like, oh hey, I'm in Epcot, I'm by the land, and then does it like how does the app work?
Mm-hmm. Like you go into and you can open it up and you can click on it by park, and then it goes by like where you are. So like if you click on Magic Kingdom, like I'm looking at it now, it'll say there's a TTC spot, there's an entrance to the park, and then there's Fantasyland, and then like if you're in Fantasyland, like it has Be Our Guest Restaurant, Peter Pan's Flight. You can click into which one, and then it's gonna tell you like, look where this is.
Okay, so yeah, can you like run through an example? So like let's say you click on like Peter Pan's Flight, like then like what is it?
Okay, Peter Pan's Flight. And then it pulls up and it says, study the overhead attraction sign at the entrance for 2 decent hidden Mickeys. And you can also click on that, and it's going to give you another clue, and it's going to give you a hint.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you can click.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and it tells you like what difficulty level it is, how many points you get if you're like playing with someone. And then there's a little spot where you can mark it as found. And so then it will always it'll be green. Yeah, there's points.
I didn't know it was like a point thing.
That's
cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That's really cool.
And it's like you can view achievements. They have like a leaderboard, I guess, with other people that, have used the app and stuff. It's really neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was kind of just thinking it was like, here's a hidden Mickey, here's a hidden
Here's
Mickey.
a picture of the hidden Mickey that you
Right.
could see, but here it is on your phone instead.
Yeah.
That's cool that
it's fun.
That's cool that they like want you to find it, and they're not just like telling you exactly where it is.
But they give you hints in case you get really frustrated with this.
Yeah.
And it was neat because it's just really, really convenient. Like, and I think it helps more than the book does. It has a little bit more info in it than the books do.
Like,
So.
I'm not whipping out a book when I'm on a ride to look at page 52, paragraph 3 to see.
We have.
Yeah, like we have, but like you get really excited about it and you do it once or twice and you're like, yeah, whatever, it's in my backpack or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of how that's where I'm at with hidden Mickeys. But I think the app might kind of spark a new revolution.
Yeah,
it's
it's really cool. It's I think I paid $7.99 for it, and that's just for one app, and especially if it updates every single time a new book comes out, like you're just paying $7.99 one time.
Well, and I'm pretty sure
That's
a single
true.
book
Yeah.
is more than $7.99.
Yeah,
And no trees were harmed
cool.
in the making of that app.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Electronics.
I mean, I still do love a book, but
There'll be one of those things that in 50 years it'll be like, oh, I found a rare hidden Mickey book.
Yeah.
Right.
When they have to look them up in books.
Because I remember we were doing that on the college program. Like, I think I don't know who bought the book, but
I have it. I know I have
okay,
one.
but like that one's outdated by now.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, there's a lot of different editions. I think they're on like edition like 8 or 9 or something. That I think they come out every August, and the guy continues to put them out. But I definitely recommend doing the app if you enjoy, or downloading the app if you enjoy hunting for the Mickeys while you're on vacation. I just think it's a fun a fun activity to do, especially if you got kids. Kids seem to really enjoy it. But I'm just curious. Pop quiz. Tell me the first hidden Mickey that pops into your head that you found.
I suddenly forgot where every single hidden Mickey I've ever seen is.
What's a hidden Mickey? I remember learning about them through a podcast years ago. And I didn't know they existed. And then they were talking about them. And I think one of the first ones they talked about was one in the seas made out of stones. In one of the big aquarium. So that's the first one I went to find on my own because I knew what it was and where it was and I was looking for it, and that's the first one I found, and that's the first one I remember ever learning about. So that one's kind of my go-to when I think of hidden Mickeys.
When you say the word hidden Mickey, the first thing that pops into my head is the one in the Haunted Mansion. In the ballroom scene, on the table is where the plates are arranged in the Mickey, which that was not done by Imagineers. Cast members keep going in and changing it around, and when Imagineers go through and look at the ride, they take that hidden Mickey away because it's not supposed to be there. But yeah, I love leaning slightly forward as we're going through the ballroom and just looking down on the dining table and seeing the little Mickey on there.
My most memorable hidden Mickey is in the Fast Pass line for Expedition Everest. When my husband and I don't think we were even dating, we were just friends who went to Disney, and I took it. It was the first time he'd ever been. I took him in the Expedition Everest line, and I'd been telling him about hidden Mickeys, and I was waiting to see one that I already knew was there and point it out to him and be like, this is what it is. This is the concept. And we're walking through the line, and there's a lantern in one of the display cases with 3 circles punched into it that make a perfect Mickey. And he just stops me and he was like, oh, is that? That's a hidden Mickey?
Oh my god.
Yeah, cool. I've never found a hidden Mickey that I didn't have a hint about, but yeah, cool. Yeah, that's a hidden Mickey.
I always think of the first one that I think of is the one in the Garden Grill that I had to show every single person that came in the door. But it's a hard one. It's a hard one. If you're not really looking, or no one tells you about it, you ain't gonna find that thing. That thing is so hard to find.
Where is it?
It's in the mural painted that's all the trees and leaves and stuff that because you go through the land ride in there, and then there's one spot where there's a whole mural on the wall, and it's a side profile shadowed mess, and it's crazy. I'll see if I can find a picture and show it to you guys, and I'll maybe put it on the Instagram for all the people to see.
Yeah, I've never eaten at Garden Grill.
I don't think I knew that one was there.
I don't think you ever pointed it out to us, Rachel.
Well, when I wasn't at work, I didn't want to be at work. Yeah. And now I don't really go, so, But it's funny, and we would have people just come with their little books and say, hey, can we come in and see the Mickey? And, sometimes, depending on who was there, they would let them, but we weren't really supposed to, but, whatever.
But anything for the Mickeys.
Anything for the Mickeys, and anything to keep people happy.
I like that we all had different answers for that.
Yes, because there's so many Mickeys. There's endless answers.
Mm-hmm. There's so many. I wonder how many there really are. So, for anyone who doesn't know that's listening to the podcast, what a hidden Mickey is.
I'll take this one. So a little bit of history about the hidden Mickeys. They appeared in Epcot first. They were something that the Imagineers put in because Epcot was a, quote, adult-themed park. And, alcohol and, Mickey Mouse, you don't really want to see those two things together. Obviously we know today, that's completely opposite. They're putting characters everywhere in Epcot. But when the Epcot was made, that was something that was okay, Mickey and Minnie, they're not going to be seen at Epcot Center. It's just, this is something totally different. So some of the Imagineers took that as okay, well, we'll see. And started slipping them in. And now it's just become this, craze of finding hidden Mickeys and other Disney characters, too. There's hidden Minnies and other characters. But the hidden Mickeys were originally kind of a F you. I'm gonna do it anyway.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
And now they're a pop culture fun out. They're got a cult following because of some Imagineers going. And now it's something that they're when Imagineers like make a new attraction or area of the park or whatever, like they're encouraged to like put them in places that are going to be harder for guests to find, and they're going to be fun for guests to find.
I wonder if there's hidden Mickeys in Galaxy's Edge.
I was just thinking that.
Oh, I'm sure, and I
Ah.
bet you my app will be updated in August, and I will tell you.
Don't tell me I want to find it. Whenever I go, 5 million years from now.
Well, I'll just tell you that they're there.
Okay.
I can tell you how many they are.
I wonder because it's such a highly themed land and like, I don't know.
There's some in Pandora, though, and it's
Oh,
super
okay.
themed, too. Yeah. There's also several places that you can find them that are not necessarily in the parks. The parks are like the main, spot for them. Just as far as the park's landscaping, they're, within the rides. There's a lot of little Easter eggs in movies, which I was going to ask you guys. Do you know of any in some of the movies that are like the little Easter eggs? Like I know in The Princess and the Frog, like somebody at the beginning's like airing out the magic carpet and
I was
stuff like
just about
that.
to say that one, the magic carpet. My other favorite one is in Hercules when somebody's painting Hercules and he has on like a cape of like a fur of Scar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a hidden Mickey, but hidden Scar.
Yeah, there's so many Easter eggs in Pixar movies. Like, they're just all over the place. I can't think of like one specific one, but there's always reference to other Pixar characters in different Pixar movies.
I'm just curious of what some of your first memories of Hidden Mickeys are. I know, Stephanie, you kind of touched on that earlier to a certain extent.
I think the first memory I have of hidden Mickeys was finding them with you, Stephanie, in the scavenger hunt that we did. Like I knew they were a thing, but I was just like, all right, whatever. Yeah, but that was the first time, especially in the parks, that like I realized what a big thing it was and how like invested this whole hidden Mickey hunting was in the parks. But I also had I think I've mentioned this in an episode before. I had a vacation planning DVD. Or I guess it was a CD-ROM, not a DVD. Jesus, in the 90s. Oh, man. But I had a vacation CD-ROM, and that was something that up until our trip, like I was playing it every day, and then when we got back, I'd like play it and pretend it was still in the parks, and like there were like hidden Mickeys in each of the lands of the Magic Kingdom you could go to, and you click on them, and it would just be like, you found a hidden Mickey.
Oh. So it was like a legit thing.
Yeah, like it was a thing. I guess it's been a thing for a while.
Yeah, I like you guys. I think I like always knew that they existed, but I like clearly remember looking for them on our college program in Great Movie Ride, and on the mural outside of Spaceship Earth. Even though I don't know if I've ever actually found that one, or if there even is. I think it was like a rumor.
I don't think there is one
about it.
I think it got repainted. I think it was there, and it got repainted, just like touched up in a like regular refurbishment, and either somebody didn't know they were painting over a hidden Mickey, or like intentionally was just like, no, I don't like this
I
one.
remember, like, I think still to this day, anytime we walk past that mural outside of Spaceship Earth, we're always like, where's the hidden Mickey? Where's the hidden Mickey?
Totally.
Years later, we're like,
every
where
single
is it?
time.
Because there's all that like just like the little tiny stars, and you're like, surely 3 of those are touching. But they're not. I've never found them.
I think that my first one was when we were on the college program, and we had that book, and we were with the other girls from the apartment above us, and they were like, we were looking for all of them in the 3 Caballeros, and also the ones in It's a Small World, like on the little vines, and then in all the rooms and the koalas and stuff. Those are all the ones, and those are the ones I can just like point out to people without being like, let me look at my app.
Hidden Mickey. Boom. Hidden Mickey.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that like all of us started our like hidden Mickey hunting as like either adults or like Stephanie, you were like 16, 17. Like we were older. Like it's not just like a thing for kids. It's something that all ages can enjoy, because I still go all the time and like get really hyped about finding a hidden Mickey.
Especially one that you've never found before. Like, because I'm always like, when I got the app, I was able to look, or when I had the books, I was able to look and see if I could find some new ones. But most of the time, I'm just like, hey, I know that one. Brings me to another question. There's a lot of questions in this one. Do you enjoy it, or is it just like, whatever? Like, because I know when we first started doing it, it was just like, whatever, Like you said, Katie, earlier, it was just like, I didn't care. And then you just did it one day. But or is it something you like? You're like, I'm going to Disney and I'm going to find hidden Mickeys. Because I did that in February. I was like, I got the app before I went and I was like, I'm going to do this. It's going to be a fun time and I'm going to show them all to Josh. So I just really like them. They're just really creative to me.
I like kind of want to do that now. I've always been sort of like, meh, like what, like they're a cool thing, but like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But going to Disney with someone who's never been, that's a really fun thing for them to do because there's so much to see and look at and take in. It can be really like overwhelming. So I think it's really fun to be like, okay, this is all really cool. This is like a cool land. You know, this is Fantasyland. It's huge, it's giant, but like, let's try and find hidden Mickeys. Like, let's laser in on some like specific points in this queue or in this section. And I recently just went with some cousins of mine who are they're teenagers, so they're a little bit younger, or I guess they're a little bit older. They're not kids. And at the beginning of the trip, I was like pointing out every hidden Mickey that I knew about, and they're like, yeah, okay, whatever, that's cool. But by the end of the trip, they're obsessed now. We have a Snapchat group called Hidden Mickey Crew.
How cute.
Like, anytime we see a hidden Mickey in like real life, like in the wild, we will send a picture to each other in that group. They're just obsessed with them now because once they got over like the overwhelming, oh my god, this is Disney, like by the end of the trip, when they kind of like knew where they were at, what they were doing, they could be like, oh, that's totally a hidden Mickey. Or like, oh, I bet there's a hidden Mickey over here.
That's fun because I feel like, I don't know, yeah, I feel like whenever I go with people for the first time, I'm like, oh, it's a hidden Mickey. Oh, there's a hidden Mickey. And I feel really annoying. But I guess like once, like for your cousins, like once they got involved and once they started finding their own, it must have been so much more fun.
Yeah, I enjoy finding them. I know where a lot of them are now, but when you were talking about the app, like making a game out of it and having like points and stuff, that sounds
fun.
Yeah, that makes it sound like a lot more fun to me. I also really enjoy pointing out to my niece and nephew. They're little, so they enjoy it. So my niece was sitting on my lap when we were Living with the Land. So she was up just a little bit more than she would have been just like sitting on the chair. So I was able to show her the hidden Mickeys in the land, and like she thought it was really cool to find those. So it's kind of like just passing on the knowledge of hidden Mickeys, I think is fun.
I feel like you have to earn liking hidden Mickeys. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like you kind of have to know what you're doing at Disney to appreciate all the hidden Mickeys. Because otherwise you're too busy taking in everything else.
Yeah, you're right. Because, like, a lot of the time, especially, like, the times that I took Josh for the first time, I, like, wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, oh, there's hidden Mickey right there. But, like, this time, you know, this was his third time. Like, I, like, just went on some of the rides, and I was just like, I'm just going to look for them all. And you got to have I think if you really want to do it, you got to have, some time set aside for it. Definitely not trying to get, rides done or make reservations or things like that.
Yeah, I definitely think it kind of becomes more fun when you've been to the parks a couple of times, you've done all the stuff that you would normally want to do that like a first-time person would want to do, and you can spend the time paying attention to those details and looking for those things, and then that adds another layer of fun and something new to someone who's been, multiple times and has spent a lot of time there.
There's actually some history behind it, and Katie kind of touched on a little bit of it earlier. So smart lady.
Sorry, I forgot you had that down there.
No, it's okay. I thought it was cool because I scrolled down and I was like, I remember that. I know that for some reason. And I was like, oh yeah. But there's actually some cool history behind it. Like she said, when the Imagineers were designing Epcot, they added them there first. The first published sighting of a hidden Mickey was in 1989 in the Eyes and Ears.
The Eyes and Ears is like that internal like cast member newspaper thing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like the telecast, but the Eyes and Ears is like the magazine.
Of course, it's cast members that found them first.
I still have several copies of my Eyes and Ears, so we can post a picture of like the covers of some of them. That'd be a fun picture.
Yeah. Well, that was also where they listed a lot of where they were in the theme parks too, like as far as in Epcot. And now there are books, and like I said earlier, there's an app that you can purchase and you can find them all that you want to. They're no longer like a secret thing.
But also like the book is sold on Disney property, but it's not like created by Disney, right? It's like created by some guy. Same with the app.
Yeah.
So they're not
Right.
like official.
Exactly.
It's like still all kind of like unofficial, I feel like.
Yeah.
But they like do it because it's such a big deal now. I guess that's why they actually sell it. And I'm sure that dude that made the book is like making all the bank for that.
I wonder if that's something that they're eventually going to integrate into the My Disney Experience app, like a hidden.
That would
Mickey
be
section.
awesome.
Maybe like like pay you $4 to access the Hidden Mickey database.
That would be cool if they did that, or add it to the Play app or whatever.
Oh yeah, true. Play app.
As you've found them over the years, what do you think is the most challenging Hidden Mickey to find? And this is spoiler alert for all the listeners, because then it won't be the most challenging for you. But
The dumb one at Tower of Terror.
We spent like 7
Yeah.
months trying to find that one.
I hate that one so much.
the grease on the wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's faint
Yeah.
grease stain on the wall.
Yeah, so in the Hidden Mickey book that I purchased in our program, obviously Tower of Terror is one of our favorite attractions, and we write it all the time. And we wanted to find every single Hidden Mickey that was in the Tower of Terror queue and the ride. And one of them was listed in the boiler room as like a mark on the wall. And like that's all it said. It was like it's a grease mark on the wall that forms the Hidden Mickey. So we're like, okay, well it'll be pretty obvious. Like most Hidden Mickeys, or once you see them, you're like, oh duh. No. Mm-mm.
This was like someone smudged the wall, and someone was like, "That's vaguely in the shape
Yeah.
of him, Mickey. If the light hits it the right way, and somebody's not blocking that spotlight, and, like, it's so stupid."
Yeah, it's dumb. It's got to be like a profile or so, because it's not 3 distinct smudges. It's like kind of what looks like an ear, and then like a blob beneath it, and yeah, they're connected. But, like it's not a Mickey.
So I just pulled up the Disney app, the Hidden Mickey app. So I'm going to tell you what the app says about it. So here's your clue.
Okay.
The clue says, notice a classic Mickey stain on the wall in the boiler room. That's all
Bullshit.
you get, which is probably what the book says. Okay. So then on the app,
Oh
it
my
gives you
gosh.
a hint. And might I add, the difficulty on this says moderate, which is bullshit.
Lies.
Okay.
Maybe it's been repainted,
I don't
but
believe this is dumb. Anyway, so this is what the hint says. A black, slightly distorted, classic Mickey stain stains the wall of the boiler room at a spot where the cube branches. He's about 8 feet up from the walkway between an exit sign and a red electrical box.
Lies. I have looked at that exact spot, and it is a weird smudge that is not a Mickey.
It says slightly distorted.
it's more than slightly distorted. I think it's distorted too much to qualify as a hidden Mickey.
Agreed. Like I definitely think it's like, oh, yeah, it's just a distorted Hidden Mickey. No, if that counts as a Hidden Mickey, there's a Hidden Mickey freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
For me, like, I think, call me a hidden Mickey purist, if you will. I think it's got to be like perfect proportions, purposefully intended to be hidden, maybe discovered. When there's like a Mickey in the carpet, I'm like, that's just a Mickey. That's not a hidden Mickey. Like, they're not hiding that from anyone. That's a Mickey.
There is a picture of it on Disboards, the Disney Discussion Boards website, that I will be happy to share. And you guys can tell us if you think it's a hidden Mickey or not, because it's freaking not.
Vetoed.
So obviously we're very passionate about the stupid Hidden Mickey on Tower of Terror, but one that I think is pretty cool, and it definitely is a Hidden Mickey. There's a debate about it. When you're riding the Haunted Mansion, right before you go to where you can like see the hitchhiking ghost, before you go there, if you turn around and look into one of the crypts, turn around to your right side and look into one of the crypts, there is a Hidden Mickey kind of in like glow in the dark paint on the inside of the crypt, and I think that one's really fun because you have to be like looking back when everybody's staring at the hitchhiking ghost because they just popped up and you're seeing them. If you turn around back to your right, you'll see that glow in the dark Hidden Mickey in the crypt.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Do you have a challenging one, Stephanie, or no?
I remember one that I think it was me and Katie were looking for at Animal Kingdom on the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. I think we read that there was one like on the bridge, like on a wooden bridge. And so we spent probably like 15-20 minutes just like staring at the ground, and people were like, did you guys lose something? Are you okay? Like, are you guys looking, what did you drop? And all these people were stopping. We're like, no, we're just looking at the nails. Like,
Apparently that one was one that was like snuck in by an Imagineer, and I haven't found it since the college program.
Yeah.
Like, it was definitely there on the college program. I saw it multiple times. I think either like they found out about it and were like, oh, well, we're not gonna
They
have that.
redid the bridge and didn't know
Or
about it.
they had to replace that plank for some reason. Yeah, and since it's not like an official, I mean, none of them are official, but since it's not like a recorded
Yeah, it was just
one,
three tiny
it went away.
nails, like in a plank in the wood in the bridge.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. There's also a hidden Jafar on the Gorilla Falls Trail.
Yes.
If you find a certain rock formation, it looks like Jafar's head, but I won't spoil it any more than that.
Now, do you think that was on purpose, or you think someone like, that looks like Jafar, let's put it in the book?
I don't know. It looks like, I mean,
I don't know. I found out from a cast member who pointed it out. It was like one of the cast members stands on Gorilla Falls and like gives you animal information.
but it looks like Jafar.
They were the ones who were like, "This is a hidden Jafar." Yeah,
It just seems
it's gotta be
strange to be like,
it looks exactly.
you
like
know what
Jafar.
this attraction needs? A big Jafar head. Yeah.
Jafar.
I wonder if whatever Imagineer was like planning that was like, Jafar's my favorite character. This is
Because, like,
gonna be
how do you
Jafar.
accidentally
Right.
make a rock formation and it just looks like Jafar?
But it just seems like a strange
Right.
thing to do on purpose, too. So, I don't know.
I think that my most challenging one, I would just tell you, is the one in the Garden Grill because it's a bunch of hockaloogie is what it is. Because this is what the app says about that. I'm referring to the app a lot. Y'all go buy this app. The clue says, go to the outside railing of the restaurant, take a good look at the back wall, find and then marvel a green face of Mickey Mouse on the left side of the large mural of vegetation. He's in the 3/4 profile on the right side of a single fern, and he's well
my God.
camouflaged by the fern leaves. He's
Wow.
easier to spot from inside the restaurant. Y'all, this is some bull.
I know,
Full
right?
disclosure, we are not sponsored by the Hidden Mickey app on this episode, but we could be. Hidden Mickey app, we could be.
Do you guys remember the hidden mini that was on the wall in the loading section
Yeah.
of Great Movie Ride?
That ride had a lot of good ones.
And how difficult that one was to find?
It was difficult, and I pointed it
Yeah.
out every time, no matter who I was riding with. Even if it was you guys, I'd be like, "Look, there's a Hidden Mini."
I just remember that. Yeah, we would just be sitting there and you'd be like, hidden mini.
Because we looked for it for so long. Like, it just... You had to make sure
Yeah.
everyone remembered like what you suffered through to find it. Do you guys have a favorite Hidden Mickey like to point out to people? For me, mine is because you can't like see it while you're in the parks, but if you pull up a like a satellite view of Animal Kingdom, you can see that Expedition Everest forms a Hidden Mickey from like the aerial view, and that like blew my mind when I figured that one out. Like they designed a whole roller coaster in the shape of the Mickey, and like the proportions are perfect, and it's like very, very clear, like intended to look like Mickey. I just think that's really cool.
I think that's one of my favorite ones. That was just so clever of them when they built that
I
ride.
think I touched on this earlier, but in Living with the Land, towards the end in the little laboratory area, there's a tray holding a bunch of what I think is test tubes. It's not really that clear. That's what it looks like to me, and the test tubes are in the shape of a hidden Mickey. And I just love pointing that out to my niece. She thought it was really cool because she couldn't find it at first, and when she saw it, she got really excited. So I like pointing that one out.
So I haven't gotten to point mine out to anybody yet because I didn't find it. It was found on the last trip. But Kelly, yours reminded me. Mine's also at Living with the Land. The girls I was talking about earlier that I went on this trip with got really like excited by Hidden Mickeys towards like the middle of the trip. And we're riding Living with the Land. And as you guys know, there are a ton in Living with the Land.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm pointing them out like left and right. That's Hidden Mickey. There's one. And we go through the room with like all the hydroponics and the aquaponics systems. And one of the girls, shout out to Natalie, who found the best Hidden Mickey I've ever seen, looks over and she's like, "Oh, there's one." I'm like, "Hold up. No, like there's not one over on that side. Like I know where there, and it's not over there." In the aquaponics system, where they have the tilapia in the bottom and like that water's being used to water those plants, there's a bunch of PVC pipes in this contraption, and they've got holes in them, I guess, to aerate. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what the holes are for. So they've got these holes. One of the holes of the PVC is cut, like 2 extra holes are cut to make a Mickey. And like, I would never, ever in a million years have noticed it. And Natalie just turns over and she's like, "There it is. There's a Hidden Mickey. There's one." And so like, I can't wait to point that out to people. Like, why are you looking at this really cool aquaponics system? Like, look at a Hidden Mickey do. Rachel, what about you? Do you have a favorite one to like show to other people and like show off your hidden Mickey skills.
Yeah, that shitty one in the Tower of Terror. Because people are like, no, it's not. It's not one. It's just grease. And I'm like, yeah, it's just grease. But they say it's a Mickey.
You like to make sure everyone else is pissed about it too. I respect that.
I mean, because that one is junk. Like, I need to find somebody to be like, y'all need to either repaint this or just let it go.
In Tower of Terror, when the Sally Shine girl is holding the Mickey Mouse plush,
Exactly.
would you consider that a hidden Mickey?
Yes, ma'am.
I would consider that a
Okay.
hidden Mickey. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Even though, like we said, like it's very clear, like that's just
Yeah.
Mickey. It's not. That's not a place that Mickey
wouldn't
would normally
expect
be.
It ain't in
him.
the
Like in the
movie.
movie, there's no
Yeah,
Mickey,
okay.
so like yes, it is it's like an added hidden Mickey. My opinion.
I agree. I just wanted to know what you guys thought about that one.
I just wanted to make sure everybody else was right too.
Right. Good call. That was a good pop question.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have some fun facts for you all.
Fun facts.
I love a fun fact. So, fun fact is that if you are staying at the Wilderness Lodge or you go to the mainly if you're staying at the Wilderness Lodge, they have a hidden Mickey scavenger hunt for when families check in so that they can enjoy doing it. That resort alone has almost 3 dozen hidden Mickeys there.
Wow.
Holy shit!
That's a lot.
That would be fun to do on like your first day if you don't have a park ticket, or like the last day before you leave. You just spend some time.
To still have a little bit of magic in your
Yeah.
trip.
Or if you're with a big group, inevitably you're gonna be like waiting on people in this room to get ready to go somewhere. Like, well, let's go hunt.
Yeah.
Right. That would be fun.
Good tip.
Sounds like a really good reunion trip activity
Do
for us
it.
guys.
So I feel like we covered a lot of the hidden Mickeys that we find like around the parks. But one thing we haven't talked about is the hidden Mickey pins.
The hidden Mickey pins are really fun to find, and they're part of really fun sets. So speaking of pins and fun pin sets, we've got some. We shared some exciting news with you guys that we were going to be doing a giveaway. Our giveaway is going to be a trading set of pins. So you're going to get a lanyard, a set of 5 trader pins, and a Spilling the Mad Tea button, which will be, you guys will be some of the first people to get a Spilling the Mad Tea button. We had them made especially for our listeners, and we're really excited about them. It's got our Spilling the Mad Tea logo, and you can wear it everywhere and wear it to the parks. And Stephanie and I wore some to the parks on our last trip, and people really seem to like the design. So you guys can have them.
We wanted to say thank you for everyone who suggested and like voted in our Instagram story poll when we asked what kind of episode we should make, and pins was an overwhelming winner. So that's why we did our pins episodes. We thought it'd be fun to give back and say thanks to everyone who is getting involved with us on social media, has been listening to the podcast, and getting involved with us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.
So we have a couple of little rules, if you will, to enter for the giveaway. Specifically for the listeners of the podcast, we just want you guys to DM us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and email. It can be all of those platforms per one person. That will get you, a little bit more in, And we want you to let us know something that you want us to discuss. Like, what do you want to hear us do an entire hour-long podcast about?
Yeah, and you guys can get an entry for each of those answers on any social media platform. So, like, if you send us an Instagram, Twitter, Facebook message, and email us, those will be 4 entries for you guys. And we are going to pick a winner on July 19th.
Yeah, we really hope that you guys participate in this. We would love to hear some feedback from you guys. We want to know what y'all want to hear and what you want us to talk about. We could talk about anything for any amount of time. So if it's something kind of small, we can work it into a segment. Or if you want a whole full-blown episode about it, we can do that too.
So thanks in advance for getting involved. And as always, thanks for listening to us.
And we can't wait to send you free shit.
Yeah, what she said.
Just another little fun fact, because I enjoy a good fun fact, obviously. In the most recent Kingdom Hearts video game, there's a side quest just for finding hidden Mickeys, but on the game they call them lucky emblems. And so, like, my boyfriend Josh, he was playing it and he told me about it. I haven't played it yet, but I'm really excited because you go around and it's like in each specific like world that you're in. I don't know if you really know about Kingdom Hearts, but you are playing as a character and your like little sidekicks are Goofy and Donald, and Mickey's around too. And so you go through these little places, and one I specifically remember, I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is, but there's a pirate's world in it, and you go and you have to like the main character has a little phone, and you have to like take a picture of him with the Mickey to like get like credit for it, or take a picture of it to get credit for it. And there's like so many of them, and then you find it, and it seemed really cool.
I think it's fun how, like, I mean, obviously these hidden Mickeys have been put in place by like official Disney cast members and Imagineers and stuff, but I feel like they got their notoriety like unofficially, but then you still see like Disney putting like kind of validating them in like the CD-ROM that Katie had, and now like Kingdom Hearts, like they are like they're validating them and giving them like real life. And yeah, I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm. But isn't that what Disney does best? Like they let the fans pick what they want to do, and then they're like, yeah, we'll throw money at that. Yeah, like if you just look at the merchandise in the last couple of years, like all these things that you see on Etsy that sell so well, they're gonna
totally
be in the
true.
parks in
Yeah.
a few years.
Oh yeah. That's why they started doing the fancy flower ears and stuff that everybody was doing on Etsy and stuff, that now you can get those in the park.
There was also a hidden Mickey side quest in the Disneyland Adventures for Connect. We've talked about this a couple times in the podcast because it is a really excellent way to like beat your Disney blues, and you can walk around Disneyland and meet all the characters. It feels like you're there. But there's also it's amazing. The next time you're in Georgia, you're coming to my house, and we're gonna play this because it's a 2-player, and we're gonna play it. We're gonna play it.
It's so fun.
But yeah, you have like a camera in the game, and you can take pictures of like all the it's a side quest. You like take pictures of the hidden Mickeys in different lands, and all it tells you is how many there are in each land. Like it doesn't tell you anything about where they're at.
Now, are they proper hidden Mickeys or are they just Mickeys?
Yes,
They're
they are
legit.
proper hidden Mickeys. They are you're going to be absolutely sure that it's a Mickey.
Okay, so they have all these hidden Mickeys at Disneyland, Disney World, and even on Disney cruise ships. And I'm sure they're probably like, in the international parks too. I don't know. Does anybody know? Yes?
I'm sure.
Cannot
I
confirm.
don't know. Haven't been to any,
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Don't know. For
I
sure.
assume, but
Right.
There's got to be 3 circles next to each other. I'm sure.
Gotta be somewhere. Another question, maybe the final question, is has anybody found any outside of Walt Disney World, like on anywhere that you've been?
So I went on a Disney cruise a couple of years ago with my family, and our maitre d'. First of all, the Disney cruise cast members are some of the best in the world. Like they outshine the Walt Disney World cast members by a mile, and I think very highly of Walt Disney World cast members too. But they're amazing. So our maitre d' was awesome and very like involved with us while we were there, and just was like part of our family while we're on our cruise. And at some point he found out that we liked hidden Mickeys, and so like started pointing out like all the ones that were on the cruise because
fun.
they weren't in the books. And at that point there wasn't an app for him, and even if there had been, like I was on a boat, I didn't have internet on the boat. So he would like write us down a list every night of like areas that we could go look at. And then at the next dinner, he'd be like, "Okay, did you find them all? Like, which one did you find? Which one did you not?" It was amazing.
That's really above and beyond. That's really cool.
So I can't really think of any, or like remember of any specific hidden Mickey that I saw at Disneyland, but there is a hidden Mickey in my car. My air conditioning, like knobs and buttons, turn into a hidden Mickey. And then one time I was making a sandwich and I was just throwing some pickles on it, and there was a hidden Mickey in my pickles.
This is gonna go somewhere serious. Like, this one time, like I found this thing.
I didn't do it on purpose. I just threw the pickles on
just a sandwich.
They turned into a hidden Mickey.
I love it.
Kelly's sandwich.
I love it.
Well, I
That's
was
so
gonna
good.
say it's not as exciting as pickles, but one of my favorite hidden Mickeys outside of property is it's there's one in the power lines in the town of Celebration, and it's big. I haven't seen it in person, but
Yes.
I've seen lots of pictures online, and I think it's clever. So good for them.
Anyways, so with all that being said, those are our tales of finding hidden Mickeys. Do everywhere, even in your sandwich in your car. Do you and your family search all over for the hidden Mickeys? We would really love to hear about some of your fun stories, like we have shared with you. Which is the best, which is the hardest ones you've found.
You can email us at spillingthemadtea@gmail.com.
Tweet us at Spilling Mad Tea.
Follow us on Instagram at Spilling the Mad Tea, and you can also like us on Facebook. We are Spilling the Mad Tea. Send us suggestions on what you want to hear us chat about next. Thank you all for joining us today. We'll see you later.
Bye.
See ya!